The November rain pelted against the glass facade of the Horizon Tower in downtown Seattle, creating rivulets that distorted the city lights below. Inside the sleek lobby, the evening rush had thinned to a trickle of late workers and residents returning home. The building, a 60-story monument to modern luxury, hummed with the quiet efficiency of after-hours life. Marcus Chen adjusted the backpack on his 7-year-old daughter's shoulders as they stepped into elevator number 3. Emma clutched her school art project, a papier-mâché volcano that had somehow survived the bus ride home. Her sneakers squeaked against the polished floor as she bounced excitedly, already chattering about the science fair next week. "Dad, do you think mine will actually erupt? Because Jenny's mom bought hers from a store and yours will be better because you made it yourself," Marcus said, pressing the button for the 42nd floor. His navy blue maintenance uniform still smelled faintly of cleaning solution from his shift. Dark circles under his eyes betrayed another late night of studying for his engineering certification exam after Emma had gone to bed. The elevator doors began to close when a hand shot through, triggering the sensors. A woman in an expensive charcoal suit rushed in, her heels clicking authoritatively. She was probably in her early 40s, with sharp features and perfectly styled auburn hair that suggested regular salon visits. A leather portfolio was tucked under one arm, and she held her phone in a death grip with the other hand. "Thank you," she said curtly, not making eye contact. She jabbed the button for the 58th floor and immediately returned to her phone, her thumbs flying across the screen with practiced urgency. Just as the doors sealed shut, another voice called out, "Hold it, please." A young man in his mid-20s stumbled in, wearing a slightly rumpled button-down shirt, with the sleeves rolled up and khakis that had seen better days. His messenger bag was covered in tech company stickers, and wireless earbuds dangled around his neck. He had the disheveled look of someone who'd been staring at code for 12 hours straight. "Appreciate it," he mumbled, selecting the 35th floor. He leaned against the elevator wall, eyes already glazing over as he returned to whatever podcast he'd been listening to. The elevator began its smooth ascent. Marcus felt Emma lean against his leg, humming a song she'd learned in music class. The businesswoman's manicured fingers continued their rapid-fire typing. The young tech worker bobbed his head slightly to his audio. 4 strangers in a box, heading to different destinations, each absorbed in their own world. Then somewhere between the 23rd and 24th floors, the elevator lurched violently. Emma yelped, grabbing Marcus's leg tighter. The businesswoman's phone flew from her hands, clattering against the wall. The tech worker stumbled forward, catching himself against the handrail. The lights flickered once, twice, then settled into an unsettling dimness as the emergency lighting kicked in. The elevator's smooth hum died into an oppressive silence. They had stopped. "What the hell?" the businesswoman hissed, immediately lunging for the control panel. She pressed the button for her floor repeatedly, then tried the door open button. Nothing. "This is unacceptable. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. The tech worker pulled out his earbuds, suddenly alert. Are we stuck?" Marcus felt his heart rate quicken, but he forced himself to stay calm for Emma's sake. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just a little hiccup." He reached for the emergency call button and pressed it firmly. Static crackled through the speaker, followed by a tinny voice. "Horizon Tower Maintenance, what's your emergency?" "We're stuck in elevator 3, Marcus said clearly. 4 passengers, somewhere in the 20s, I think." More static. "Copy that. We're aware of the situation. Power surge from the storm knocked out the main system. We're working on it now. Should have you moving in 10 to 15 minutes. Everyone okay in there?" "We're fine," Marcus confirmed, though he could feel Emma trembling against him. The businesswoman let out an exasperated breath. 15 minutes? I need to be at the Rainier Conference Center by 7. This building is supposed to have redundant systems." "Lady, we're all stuck here," the tech worker said, settling down onto the floor with his back against the wall. "Might as well get comfortable." She glared at him but said nothing, instead retrieving her phone from where it had fallen. The screen was cracked diagonally across its face. Perfect. Just perfect. Marcus knelt down to Emma's level. Hey, remember when we read about that astronaut who got stuck in space for an extra month? And she said the key was staying positive. Emma nodded slowly, her dark eyes wide. But she had her crew with her. And you've got me, Marcus said, tapping her nose gently. Plus these nice folks. We're a crew now, right? The tech worker gave a small smile. Right, I'm Dev, by the way, software engineer at CloudStrike. Marcus, building maintenance. This is Emma. Hi, Emma whispered. The businesswoman remained silent, frantically swiping at her damaged phone screen. Marcus noticed her hands were shaking slightly, though whether from anger or something else, he couldn't tell. The elevator was spacious enough, probably 8 feet by 8 feet, but the emergency lighting cast strange shadows that made it feel smaller. Outside, thunder rumbled, muffled but present. The rain intensified, a constant drumming that filled the silence between them. I don't suppose anyone has service, Dev asked, checking his phone. Mine's dead. Marcus checked his own battered smartphone. 1 bar, but it's not connecting. The building's steel structure interferes with signals in the elevator shafts, the businesswoman said curtly, still not introducing herself. It's a known issue that the building management refuses to address properly. Another moment of silence stretched out. Emma shifted uncomfortably, and Marcus realized they might be here longer than 15 minutes. Storm-related outages in Seattle could be unpredictable. So, Dev said, clearly uncomfortable with the quiet. Anyone got any interesting stories? Might as well pass the time. The businesswoman shot him a withering look. I'd prefer to use this time productively, not for small talk. Your phone's broken, Dev pointed out, and we're in a metal box. Not a lot of productivity options. Marcus felt Emma tug on his sleeve. Dad, I need to use the bathroom. His stomach sank. Of course. They'd stopped at a coffee shop on the way home, and she'd had that large hot chocolate. Can you hold it for a little bit, honey? They'll get us out soon. She nodded, but her expression was doubtful. The speaker crackled again. Maintenance to elevator 3. Slight complication. The backup generator isn't engaging properly. We're working on a manual override. Might be 30 to 45 minutes. You folks hanging in there? The businesswoman's composure finally cracked. 45 minutes? This is outrageous. Do you know who? She stopped herself, taking a deep breath. I need to make a call. This is critical. I'm sorry, ma'am, but cell service in the shaft is minimal. We're working as fast as we can. When the speaker went silent, the businesswoman slumped against the wall, her portfolio sliding to the floor. For the first time, Marcus saw past the corporate armor. She looked exhausted, and there was something desperate in her eyes. Everyone okay? Marcus asked the group. Dev nodded. Emma pressed closer to him. The businesswoman didn't respond, her gaze distant. I'm Catherine, she finally said, her voice quieter. Catherine Whitmore. Nice to meet you, Catherine, Marcus said gently. We'll get through this. But as the minutes ticked by and the storm showed no signs of letting up, Marcus wondered if this unexpected delay might become something more complicated. Emma's discomfort was growing visible, Catherine's agitation was barely contained, and the elevator felt smaller with each passing moment. What none of them knew was that this forced proximity was about to unravel secrets that would change everything, starting with the truth Marcus Chen had been carrying for the past 3 years, a truth worth billions that he'd sworn never to reveal. 20 minutes had crawled by. The emergency lighting cast everyone in shades of grey, making the elevator feel less like a temporary inconvenience and more like a pressure cooker. The rain continued its relentless assault on the building, and somewhere far above them, thunder rolled like distant artillery. Emma had grown quieter, her need to use the bathroom becoming more urgent. Marcus tried to distract her by having her describe every detail of her volcano project, but he could see she was struggling. Catherine Whitmore had given up on her broken phone and now sat on the floor, her expensive suit wrinkling against the elevator wall. She'd removed her heels, and Marcus noticed a blister on her heel that had bled through her stocking. Dev had run out of podcast episodes and was now mindlessly scrolling through his photo gallery, occasionally chuckling at old memories. "This is ridiculous," Catherine muttered, checking her watch for the dozenth time. "I'm missing the most important meeting of my career." "What kind of meeting?" Dev asked, more out of boredom than genuine curiosity. Catherine hesitated, then seemed to deflate. "The kind that determines whether you get to keep your company or watch someone else take it apart, piece by piece." That got everyone's attention. Even Emma looked up from where she was leaning against Marcus. "You own a company?" Dev asked. "Owned. Maybe, I don't know anymore." Catherine laughed bitterly. "Whitmore Analytics. We do data analysis for healthcare systems. Or we did, until I discovered our CFO had been cooking the books for 18 months. The board meeting tonight was supposed to be where I presented evidence and saved the company I built from nothing." She pulled off her glasses and rubbed her eyes. 15 years of my life. My marriage ended because I chose the company over counseling sessions. I missed my daughter's 8th grade graduation for a product launch, and now I'm going to lose it all because I'm stuck in an elevator. The vulnerability in her voice surprised Marcus. This wasn't the sharp-edged corporate warrior who'd rushed into the elevator. This was someone watching their life's work crumble. "Can't you call someone?" Emma asked quietly. "Tell them you're stuck?" "My phone's broken, sweetheart. And even if it wasn't, the board won't wait. They've wanted me out for months. I'm too aggressive, too uncompromising. This gives them the perfect excuse." Catherine smiled sadly. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Marcus understood that feeling more than she knew. The universe's sense of humor had cost him everything 3 years ago. Dev shifted uncomfortably. "For what it's worth, that sucks. I got fired from my last job for refusing to implement a feature I knew would compromise user privacy. Took me 6 months to find something else, but at least I could sleep at night." "Noble," Catherine said, but there was no sarcasm in it. "I admire that. I've made compromises I'm not proud of." The speaker crackled to life again. "Maintenance to elevator 3. We've got a complication with the manual override. The storms knocked out power to the entire downtown grid. We're running on backup generators, but they're prioritizing emergency systems. We're looking at possibly 90 minutes now. We've contacted the fire department to assist if needed. How are you folks holding up?" 90 minutes. Emma's eyes widened, and Marcus saw tears forming. "We need a bathroom situation," Marcus said into the intercom. "My daughter can't wait that long." A pause. "Copy that. We'll expedite, but I can't promise anything faster. Hang in there." When the speaker went silent, Emma started crying softly. "I'm sorry, Dad." Hey, it's okay," Marcus said, pulling her close. "Not your fault. We'll figure something out." Catherine was already digging through her leather portfolio. She pulled out some folders and handed them to Marcus. "These are just copies. She can use them as privacy screens if needed. We'll all turn around." "Thank you," Marcus said, genuinely touched. Dev immediately turned to face the corner. "I'll be over here contemplating the existential dread of being trapped in a metal box. Take your time." Marcus helped Emma set up a makeshift privacy corner using the folders and his maintenance jacket. Catherine and Dev kept their backs turned, and Marcus stood guard, speaking softly to Emma to help her relax. "Remember when we went camping last summer," he said, "and the bathroom was just that pit toilet? You were so brave." "This is worse," Emma sniffled. "This is embarrassing." "Everyone here has been 7 years old," Marcus said. "Everyone understands. And you know what? The people here are being really kind about it. That's what matters." A few minutes later, Emma emerged, her face red but relieved. Marcus had used some emergency wipes from his maintenance kit for cleanup, and Catherine graciously didn't mention the impromptu arrangement. "Better?" Marcus asked. Emma nodded, settling back against him. "You're a good dad," Catherine said quietly. "My daughter's 16 now. I wasn't there for moments like this. I was always at the office." It's not too late, Marcus said. Kids remember when you show up, even if it's late. Catherine smiled sadly. Wise words from a janitor. Maintenance engineer, Marcus corrected gently, and I wasn't always. 3 years ago, I was a senior software architect at Hexagon Technologies. Dev's head whipped around. Wait, Hexagon? The AI company that revolutionized predictive algorithms? They're worth like $50 billion now. $57 billion as of last quarter, Marcus said quietly. I know. I built the core algorithm. The elevator went silent except for the rain. Catherine stared at him. Dev's mouth hung open. You're Marcus Chen? Dev breathed. The Marcus Chen. Dude, you're a legend. The Hexagon Enigma. People still talk about it. You just vanished. There were rumors you died or fled the country or I became a single dad who needed to disappear. Marcus finished. Emma's mom, my wife Sarah, she died in a car accident 3 years ago. Same night I discovered what Hexagon was really using my algorithm for. He hadn't meant to say it. 3 years of keeping this locked away, and the words just tumbled out in this fluorescent-lit box with 3 strangers. Catherine leaned forward. What were they using it for? Marcus looked at Emma, who was watching him with curious eyes. She knew her mother had died. She didn't know what her father had left behind. They told me it was for optimizing healthcare logistics, Marcus said, predicting patient needs, allocating resources, saving lives. That's what I built it for. But I found out they were licensing it to insurance companies to deny claims. The algorithm was predicting who would be expensive to cover and flagging them for automatic rejection. People were dying because my code decided they weren't worth saving. His voice cracked. I confronted the CEO. He laughed, said I was naive. That night, driving home, I couldn't focus. I called Sarah to talk it through. She was heading to meet me. An intersection, a drunk driver, and... He stopped, feeling Emma's small hand squeeze his. I blame myself, Marcus continued. If I hadn't been so obsessed with my work, if I'd paid attention to what they were really doing, if I hadn't called her that night. So I took Emma and disappeared. Changed our last name, moved to Seattle, took a job where I could control my hours and be present for her. And I've never touched code again. The elevator was thick with silence. They're still using it, Dev said quietly. The Hexagon algorithm, it's everywhere now. Medical insurance, loan applications, employment screening. It's making decisions about millions of lives. Marcus nodded. I know. And I'm the only one alive who knows how to shut it down. The only one who has the original source code with the kill switch I built in just in case. It's been eating me alive for 3 years. Catherine's business mind was already working. That code, if you went public, would destroy a $60 billion company and put thousands of people out of work, Marcus said, including people who have nothing to do with the misuse. I've played this scenario 1,000 times. There's no clean answer. But people are being hurt right now, Dev argued. Every day that algorithm runs, it's making biased decisions. You have the power to stop it. And what happens to Emma if I do? Marcus asked. Hexagon has lawyers who could bury me. I'd be in court for years. We'd lose everything. She'd lose me too, in a different way. Emma looked up at him. Dad, I don't understand all of this, but would it help people? Like how you fix things in the building to help people. Marcus felt his heart break a little. Yeah, sweetie, it would help a lot of people. Then you should do it, she said simply. You always tell me to do the right thing, even when it's hard. Before Marcus could respond, the elevator lurched violently. Everyone grabbed for support as the lights flickered. Then with a grinding sound that made their teeth ache, the elevator began to move. Downward. We're moving! Dev shouted. But something was wrong. The descent was too fast, too jerky. Alarms began blaring. Catherine screamed. Emma buried her face in Marcus's chest. The emergency phone crackled with panicked voices. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the elevator jerked to a stop. The lights died completely, plunging them into absolute darkness. In the blackness, Emma's terrified voice. Dad! I've got you, Marcus said, holding her tight. I've got you. When the emergency lighting flickered back on, dimmer than before, all 4 passengers were on the floor. Dev's messenger bag had spilled open, scattering papers and tech everywhere. Catherine was breathing hard, her hand pressed against her chest. "Is everyone okay?" Marcus asked. Nods all around, though shaken. Emma was crying silently. The intercom sparked to life, the voice strained. "Elevator 3, we have a serious situation. That power surge damaged the cable system. You've dropped 4 floors. You're now between 19 and 20. We've engaged the emergency brakes, but the system is unstable. Fire department is en route, but the storm, it's going to take time. You need to stay absolutely calm and still. Do not move around more than necessary." The implications settled over them like a shroud. They weren't just stuck anymore, they were in danger. Catherine had gone pale. How long? Could be hours. The storms made roads nearly impassable. "We're doing everything we can." When the speaker went silent, no one moved. The elevator creaked ominously and they all froze. "Well," Dev said with forced lightness, "at least we have time to finish that story about the billion-dollar secret." But Marcus was looking at Emma's frightened face, at Catherine's barely controlled panic, at Dev's hands trembling as he gathered his scattered belongings. And he realized that his secret, the one he'd protected for 3 years, might not matter at all if they didn't get out of here. Sometimes the universe didn't have a sense of humor, sometimes it just had a sense of timing. Hour 2 of being trapped felt different from hour 1. The initial panic had faded into a strange, exhausted intimacy. 4 strangers who'd started the evening worried about meetings, homework and code were now sitting in a damaged elevator, bound together by circumstance and confession. Emma had fallen into a fitful sleep against Marcus's chest, her volcano project abandoned in the corner. Every few minutes the elevator would creak or groan, and they'd all freeze, waiting to see if this was the moment the emergency brakes failed. Outside, the storm had evolved into a full Pacific Northwest deluge, the kind that could last for days. The fire department had made contact 20 minutes ago. They were staging rescue equipment, but couldn't safely deploy it in these conditions. The wind was too strong, visibility too poor. They'd try again at first light, still 5 hours away. 5 hours. In a damaged elevator. With a 7-year-old girl, a desperate executive, a young engineer, and a man carrying a secret that could reshape an entire industry. Catherine had been quiet since the drop. Her corporate composure shattered. She sat with her knees drawn up, staring at nothing. Dev had been trying to make light conversation, but even his optimism was wearing thin. "Tell me more about the algorithm," Catherine said suddenly. "Not the technical parts. What it was supposed to do versus what it does now." Marcus shifted carefully, trying not to wake Emma. "I designed it to predict resource allocation in hospitals. The idea was beautiful. Use AI to anticipate patient needs before they became critical. Reduce wait times, optimize staff, save lives through prevention instead of reaction." "But," Dev prompted, "but prediction algorithms are only as unbiased as their training data. And American healthcare data is soaked in inequality. Zip codes, race, income, all of it creates patterns. The algorithm learned to predict not just who would need care, but who was expensive to care for, based on factors that had nothing to do with actual medical need." Marcus's voice grew harder. Hexagon knew this. They saw the bias in testing and didn't care. They marketed it to insurance companies as an optimization tool. What they really sold was automated discrimination with a tech veneer. The algorithm doesn't hate anyone. It just calculates who costs too much and flags them for denial. Efficient, ruthless, legal. "Legal?" Catherine asked sharply, her business instincts kicking in. "Barely. The algorithm makes recommendations that humans rubber stamp. The company claims human oversight. The humans claim they're following algorithmic guidance. Everyone's responsible, so no one is." Marcus laughed bitterly. "I built the perfect excuse machine." Dev was scrolling through something on his phone, which somehow had regained a weak signal. "Marcus, There's a new article from last week. Hexagon just announced a partnership with the Department of Veterans Affairs. They're going to use your algorithm to manage veteran healthcare benefits. The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Veterans. People who'd sacrificed for their country, now subject to an algorithm that would calculate their worth based on cost. "I can't," Marcus whispered. "I can't keep living with this." "Then don't," Catherine said. Her voice had changed, sharper, more focused. "You said you have the source code and a kill switch. What would happen if you deployed it?" "The algorithm would shut down everywhere it's implemented. Thousands of systems would revert to manual processing overnight. It would be chaos. Chaos that would force the issue into the open," Catherine countered. "Right now, most people don't even know this algorithm exists. It's invisible. Make it visible, make it fail spectacularly, and you force a public reckoning." "And I'd be destroyed," Marcus said. "Hexagon would sue for corporate sabotage. I'd be bankrupt, possibly in prison. Emma would still have her father's integrity," Catherine interrupted. "Look, I'm about to lose my company. 15 years of work, gone because I didn't act fast enough when I saw corruption. You have the chance to act before it's too late. Don't make my mistake." Dev was nodding excitedly. "And it doesn't have to be corporate suicide. There are journalists who specialize in tech ethics, whistleblower protections. You go public with your story and the kill switch simultaneously. You're not sabotaging, you're exposing fraud." "I'm a maintenance worker," Marcus said. "No one will listen to me." "You're Marcus Chen, the architect of the Hexagon algorithm," Dev corrected. "Your credentials are unimpeachable, and you have proof. The original code, documentation of what you were told versus what they did. That's not sabotage, that's testimony." The elevator creaked ominously, reminding them all of their precarious situation. Emma stirred, but didn't wake. Catherine pulled out a business card from her portfolio, now crumpled and water-stained from the earlier chaos. "This is my attorney. She specializes in corporate whistleblower cases. When we get out of here, call her. Tell her I sent you. She'll make sure you and Emma are protected." "Why would you help me?" Marcus asked. "You don't know me." "Because I'm stuck in an elevator, possibly dying, and I'd like to think the last thing I did mattered," Catherine said bluntly. "And because I've spent 15 years building a company that I thought helped people. If I can't save my own, maybe I can help save you while you save thousands of others." Marcus looked at the three people sharing this suspended box with him. Catherine, who'd started the evening worried about a board meeting and was now offering legal help to a stranger. Dev, young and idealistic, but sharp enough to see the path forward. And Emma, sleeping peacefully because she trusted her father completely. "My daughter told me to do the right thing," Marcus said quietly. "She's 7, and she understands better than I do." "Kids often do," Catherine said with a sad smile. "Mine told me I was never home." Took me years to hear what she was really saying. The speaker crackled. "Elevator 3, this is Fire Captain Rodriguez. We're attempting a cable stabilization procedure. You might feel some movement, but don't panic. We're securing you. Hang tight." The elevator shuddered. Metal screeched against metal. Emma woke with a gasp and Marcus held her close. "It's okay, baby. The firefighters are helping us." More sounds of mechanical stress, then a deep clunk that reverberated through the shaft. The elevator swayed slightly, then settled. "Stabilization complete," the captain's voice said. "You're secure now. Weather's clearing faster than expected. We'll have you out within 90 minutes. How's everyone doing?" "We're okay," Marcus called back. Then, softer, "We're going to be okay." And for the first time in 3 years, he believed it. 73 minutes later, the ceiling hatch opened, and a firefighter's face appeared, backlit by work lights. One by one, they were harnessed and lifted out. Emma went first, laughing despite her earlier fear at the adventure of being hoisted up like an astronaut. Dev followed, still chattering excitedly. Catherine went third, and as she was lifted out, she turned back to Marcus. "Call my attorney," she said, "tomorrow." Promise me." "I promise," Marcus said. When it was his turn, Marcus looked around the elevator one last time. This box, this chance prison, had become a confessional. Sometimes you needed to be trapped to find your way free. The firefighters pulled him up into the shaft, where Emma was waiting with a reflective blanket around her shoulders, her smile brilliant. Beyond the building, dawn was breaking over Seattle. The storm finally passed. 3 months later, Marcus sat in a Seattle coffee shop, Emma doing homework at the table beside him. His laptop was open to a news article. Hexagon Technologies faces federal investigation after whistleblower exposes algorithmic bias. Former architect Marcus Chen details systematic discrimination in healthcare AI. The comments section was a war zone, some calling him a hero, others a traitor. Hexagon's stock had plummeted. Several executives had resigned. The Department of Veterans Affairs had suspended their contract. His phone buzzed. A text from Catherine. "Company's officially gone, but I got a consulting offer doing ethics oversight for AI companies. Pays nothing but feels right. Coffee next week?" Another text from Dev. "Dude, 3 job offers this week from companies that want to build ethical AI. Your story is changing the industry. Also, your maintenance job called. They want to promote you to facilities director." Ironic? Marcus smiled and typed back responses. Yes, to coffee with Catherine. Congratulations to Dev. And as for the job, he'd think about it. He was good with his hands, good at fixing things. Maybe he could be good at fixing systems too. Emma looked up from her math homework. "Dad, did I tell you? I got first place in the science fair. My volcano erupted perfectly." "That's amazing, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you." Mrs. Patterson said sometimes the best results come from things that seem broken at first. You just have to know how to make them work right. Marcus laughed, pulling her into a hug. "Mrs. Patterson is a very smart teacher." Outside, Seattle went about its business. People rushing to meetings, making choices, living lives affected by invisible algorithms and visible choices. Marcus had spent 3 years running from a mistake, only to discover that the real mistake would have been staying silent. The elevator had stuck. The secret had emerged. And sometimes being trapped is exactly what you need to finally break free. 4 strangers had entered an elevator on a rainy November evening. 4 changed people had emerged. And while Marcus couldn't undo the past 3 years, he could shape what came next. For himself, for Emma, and for the thousands of people whose lives were determined by code he'd written with good intentions and seen corrupted by greed. The truth wasn't simple. The consequences weren't clean. But Marcus had learned that complexity was no excuse for inaction. Sometimes you had to break something to fix what really mattered. He closed his laptop, finished his coffee, and helped Emma pack up her homework. They had dinner plans with Catherine and her daughter tonight, 2 families finding their way forward, connected by one strange night in a broken elevator. As they walked out into the Seattle evening, Emma slipped her hand into his. "Dad, I'm glad you told your secret." "Me too, baby. Me too." Above them, the Horizon Tower stood against the darkening sky, its elevators running smoothly once more. But for Marcus Chen, the real journey wasn't vertical anymore. It was forward, one difficult choice at a time, toward a future where the code he'd written to help people could finally do exactly that. The elevator had been stuck, but the truth had set them all free.